Hey guys, this is Matt from Results Gym. What I'm going to do is go over a short mobility routine that you should definitely do before any resistance-based training or any high-intensity training. Not necessarily for cardio, but we need to mobilise the joints, we need to get the body prepared for essentially lifting weight or any sort of high-intensity stuff. So, the first thing I'm going to get you to sort of look at is some foam roller work. Now, cervical spine, the top third of the spine, all we want to do here, keep the hips on the ground and we're just rolling our head back, shoulders, okay, holding that position. Every time we breathe out, we should be looking at dropping the head. I like to keep my elbows forward so I'm not crushing my shoulder blades against the foam roller or across your chest. Now, we only need to hold that for about 30 seconds, guys. After that, lift the hips up, okay, and just rolling back and forth a couple of inches. Once we've done that 4 or 5 times, go down a little bit lower, okay, into that position, then a little bit lower. Just keep working your way down, guys. You might feel a few little cracks and groans, okay, and that's just the spine getting back into alignment. Don't go too low. If you do go too low, sort of beyond mid-back, guys, you'll come off the rib cage and you'll start rolling the kidneys. Now, after we finish that, we don't need the foam roller anymore. We go into a few yoga poses. So we want to start putting a little bit of pressure on the shoulders. So we go into our downward dog. Some people, depending on your flexibility, okay, you may not be able to stretch the legs too much. Okay, so we want to be pushing the hips up, a nice straight line from your wrist up to your hips. Okay, into that position, coming forward into the downward dog. So we just rotate between the upward dog and the downward dog. You might want to hold it for a few more seconds, sort of 5 to 10 seconds each. Okay, I'm just going to show you the technique and just go through it. Now, once you've done those, we do what's called a cobra. Really important. See how the shoulders are feeling. It is a little bit more challenging. This is what the cobra looks like, coming down and through. Okay, not for everyone, it is quite advanced. So the alternate for this is just to drop down to your knees and coming through. But what we want to do is we want to start figuring out how our shoulder health is starting to feel. We might have a few little niggles in the shoulders, and that means we might want to just work on that mobility a little bit more until it starts to feel better. After that one, guys, we go into our cat-cow. Okay, so our cat stretch and our cow stretch, focus on the hips. We're trying to arch our back as much as we can, and then we're trying to give a huge sort of overextended sort of spinal tilt. I like to call this one the well-ridden horse, okay, but commonly known in the yoga circles as the cat-cow. Get as much movement through that area as possible. Now, once you finish this, guys, we need to go into our rotational work. Okay, what that consists of, you can do thread the needle, so push that right arm through, come all the way up. Obviously do that a couple of times, swap sides, or you can even do the kneeling up position, okay, where we're sort of holding our hand in that position, coming up nice and high. We can swap that over, or we can go into the lying down, probably the one I prefer the most, into that position, crucifix. Make sure the shoulder blades stay in contact with the ground, and we're just rotating to one side, and then rotating over to the other side. Do that a few times, guys. You want to get that rotation working. Now, once you finish that, okay, we go into our hip hinge. Really important movement pattern, guys. So, shoulder width apart, slight bend in the knees, hands on the hips, and we're hinging forward, keeping the chest out. We want to keep our spine nice and neutral. Feel a grab through the hamstrings, coming down, and then slowly back up. A little bit of hyperextension, push down again, okay, into our hip hinge. Okay, and forward and back, just up and down. Very similar, especially if we're doing deadlifts. We've got deadlifts on the menu. Okay, we want to get that movement pattern going. And our last one is we want to do our deep squat. So, with the deep squat team, I always like to grab a 5 kilo plate weight myself. Go for those feet about 45 degrees out, dropping down. I might go a little bit sideways so you can see a bit better, because you want to still keep that body weight nice and upright. Body weight. You want to keep the spine nice and strong, all right? I don't want to be slouched over into this position. Keep the elbows tucked in the inside of the knees, so the knees are tracking over the toes. This is a really good one to see what your ankle mobility is like. If I can't do this, if If I'm up on the toes and I can't get my heels on the ground, then you need to work a little bit on mobility, and let me know so I can help you out with that one. All right. This is just a counterbalance. You throw it away, some people feel like they're going to fall forward. Okay. But if you've done it for a while, you should be balancing back on those heels. Now, once you've done those, guys, you are ready to train. You're ready to get into your first couple of working sets on your first exercise, but that is enough to get you started, to get you mobilized in order for you to lift weights or do any high intensity work. Should take anywhere between 3 or 5 minutes. Good job.